My name's Conan Myers, and this is my real story. I was born here in Columbia City, and my mom got a divorce when three of us young kids, and we moved in with my grandmother, which was really a religious person. And so we started going to church with her in Fort Wayne, and I really enjoyed it. We was in a youth group, and I had two uncles that was in the ministry, and one was the pastor of our church, and I wanted to be a minister at the time. And as I grew older, I kind of went away from that thinking, and we had church and we'd have class, and our Sunday school teacher, I still remember her, Gladys Nichols, and my cousin and me would be in her class. Before she'd get in there, we'd sneak out the window and go walking around and everything, and kept track of the time and come back and climb back in the window. This went on until I was about 16 years old and got my driver's license. And then my dad worked a lot of weekends. He had his own business, and he had a lot of work he had to get caught up in on weekends, and my mom would just take us kids to church, and I was able to drive them to church. And I'd sit in the back row and walk out as soon as service would start and go just driving around the block or half a mile away and come back and sit until church was ready to start again, and then go back into church. Well, I was about 17 years old, and we lived across from South Anthony Speedway, and I used to go to races every night. So I kind of fell away from church and started racing, and we'd go out of town a lot on weekends, and so I didn't go to church. It wasn't that I still didn't believe in God, I just didn't follow His teaching and stuff the way I should. And I met a lot of good people, and I don't have any regrets about not going to church every Sunday, because it may have not worked out right, because I met my wife through a person that I raced with. I may not have met her if I would have kept on going to church where I did, because she lived out in a small town outside of town, and Bob Petrie's wife and her was best friends, and that's how I got together with my wife. And I went ahead and raced for 27 years, and I gotta admit, we did pretty good. I think I didn't realize it, but my racing part up in Berlin, Michigan, I flipped out of the racetrack 14 times and ended up 1,500 foot out in a field. And I didn't realize it at the time, but God had to be with me, because I wasn't hurt. I had a mild concussion, dirt in my eyes, but that was all. And I feel that if He wasn't with me, that I wouldn't have made it through that, because I flipped up high enough to knock the lights off in one of the poles in the racetrack, and then ended up way out in the field. And I feel that now that He was with me at that time. This is not something to say, but I didn't get back into church until my wife hurt herself, and she fell, hit her head, and it just echoed through the garage and landed flat on her back, and she had no concussion, which then it could have killed her then. And this got me back in church. And I probably shouldn't say this, but I kind of wish that it would have happened 20 years ago. You know, not that she got hurt, but getting back in church. And now I wish, too, that I had never left church. You know, when I wasn't raised on Sunday, I could have went, and I could have read my Bible at the time, and I still had prayers with God. So the story goes on. The 1st of October, I was at the forklift helping do dishes, and I felt dizzy. And the next thing I knew, I woke up in a Lutheran hospital. I had 9 cardiac arrests. I had 2 at the forklift, and then they said I had 6 on the way. And I still got burns on my side from when they had to shock me. Laura Bydowski and Jason Branding were both there, and they did CPR on me, and until the EMS got there, and they took me to the Lutheran hospital, and find out when I was able to talk to people that I had 9 cardiac arrests that day. And I feel that they saved my life, but it was through God's hands. And my problem I have now is wondering what God has for me, since He gave me a second chance on life. And I know that He was, at the time I thought that God had come down and saved me, but later on, a month or so later, I knew that He was in me. The Spirit was in me at the time. And it was through His hands and the prayer of people at the forklift. They said that when this happened, they went out and looked, and there wasn't anybody eating. They was all standing around praying. In between their prayers and the prayers of the members of the warehouse, I'm here today, and I'm thankful for each and every one of them. Maybe there's people in the congregation that has problems and been praying, and they wonder if prayers work. And I feel that my testimony is showing them never stop praying for something. It may not happen as fast as you want it to, but I guarantee you it will be answered. At that time, I just felt God was with me, and He never left my side. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep Him there. God gave me a second chance on life. I know there's some reason, and I know deep in my heart that He'll let me know.